man.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming back for another episode of Necromunda. I did not know how to start. My brain just sometimes says words that I don't intend to start with. So thank you. Thank you for watching the channel. I appreciate you. Welcome back to Unlucky Rolls and our Necromunda campaign. I noticed one thing that I have to fix. I will do that in the background in the meanwhile, but no, I will not unpause the game because I am still doing the log thing. Silence you. Bitching in the Discord chat. Anywho, we are coming back to our little group of intrepid adventurers of the Underhive, and the group has finally decided on their new gang name. And so, as we begin the session, we regroup with this party and zoom in as Sarah's just like, I've decided what we're gonna be. No fanfare? No? All right.
Yay!
I wait in anticipation.
Considering how much you blew up from what I've heard, you blew up quite a bit last time, so I think you're a bit of a Underhive wrecking unit.
Yes. Our acronym will strike fear into the heart of everyone.
Quite. Now, to recap the job that I have for you today, you are going to be heading out to the Manufactorum districts in the east with that new ride of yours, and you're going to be getting us some supplies and materials that we are going to need to pretty this place up. Because frankly, if you're going to be working for me, we need to have some place for you nerds to sleep.
I would enjoy a bed. Would be nice.
Would be nice. If you can grab one while you're out there, you should bring one back. But the main thing is that we don't have any good scrap around here to build with. So, who's driving?
I look around and I'm like, all right, it's me.
All right, I'll make sure you get you a little box to prop you up in the seat.
Ah, thank you. And either that or some like blocks for the bottom of my feet so I can hit the pedals.
Yeah, some sticks for his feet.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Casildo can drive.
I mean, if you lived out in the Waste, you may have very well had lots of opportunities to drive because they get around almost exclusively by vehicle transport out there.
That or giant fleas.
You could say I'm even proficient at driving.
Yes, fair enough. All right, so she just sort of waves you a little bit and wanders off. You do note that Shiori, your newly acquired Felinid companion, is staying behind to assist her with some things back at the base, and it seems like for the foreseeable future she will be doing as such. But in the meanwhile, you have a job to do. That means to head out east. And so, we're going to shift you all over to the world map. The pink and green is the highlight of your previous route, but now you are heading a little bit further on. Your destination this time around is quite a bit further away than this previous one. To give you a good idea of it, let me draw out a little bit for you. That is your full route.
What is it? So, sorry, you're still
the green line. There should be a green line that you can see.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, sorry. It was... for some reason, my eye was just, like, drawn to the little cog.
This one is going to be... There, I made it as close to the other one as I could, really. That is the route that you're taking. You are heading out a good further distance into the hive, out towards the Mechanicus district, to get something this time around. You have a vehicle, so it's faster than the walk you took last time, but it's still going to be a good bit of traffic.
Shouldn't be too bad.
That's not what I meant
Why
to do.
is that lunatic set on fire staying out of the window?
I don't want him to burn the roof. We'll get you a hatch so you can sit in the back. We'll open up the hatch so all the heat can go up and out. Unless it gets cold, then we can close it. Yeah, looks good to us. I'll go ahead and
There, I got things adjusted a little bit. Now that's about right.
So reset glory and ruin.
There we go. Now I'm zoomed in.
There we go.
Whoa.
I was wondering. I'm like, oh no, we're starting out with 6 ruin.
Yep. Nope, it resets. I just forgot to do that before. But yes, this is your route today.
So
It seems
long driving.
Yeah, it's going to be a long drive. You're going to be going through the Underhive in a vehicle. The vehicle is armored, and it does have a good enough suspension to drive in the Underhive, but that doesn't always mean very much, and you will run into obstacles along the way. So even though it's about 100 kilometers, you will be driving as though we're like about 4 times that much, just because of things that are in your way. You head out early in one morning, even though, to be fair, in the Underhive, the difference between morning and night is non-existent. Yeah. But as you head out, and Sarah Creed bids her last farewells before your drive off, you do need to decide for me if you want to bring along any of the henchmen guys. Because you have room for about 2 of them.
I mean, sure, yeah, we need henchmen, guys.
Yeah.
I prefer the less annoying ones if possible.
Really? Because I was thinking
mean,
if something were to happen, at least we could come back relatively happy.
Bring the bring the Mechanicus and the fucking Monopoly
we
man.
left him 1,000 miles away.
The
no, we left
Mechanicus guy.
the old guy that can't remember anything at the
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll
drop
bring
site.
the ones even if they're annoying, but not the ones that make this detrimental.
So who are you bringing along? You have them in your friendly NPCs, henchmen, greed gang. You can tell me their names.
All I see is player party and vehicles.
All I could see is Philza.
Well, that does not work for then. Observer.
Ah.
Henchman. There.
If I remember correctly, David was the snake oil salesman.
Yep.
Was Esquire
Enquiries.
the old one?
Yes.
Equire was the older gentleman.
Portman wasn't bad. I liked Portman. I don't even remember Freddy. I remember yelling at Freddy, but I don't remember Freddy.
To be fair, most of Freddy's more notable interactions were when he was drunk when the party initially found him and you weren't on that escapade, so...
Oh. Who got along with Portman?
Hey, yeah, Portman is a chirurgeon, which, if you don't know that terminology, and for the sake of our audience, a chirurgeon in this setting is basically the closest thing to a medic, doctor, and, like, surgeon, basically.
We want Portman. I feel like that's.
I mean,
that's
do we want Portman in like the line of fire? I feel like having him here back at home, where he can tend to our wounds when we return, is probably.
You're right.
A little better.
I think that we use. I would like Portman, but at the same time, I feel like using Acquire as someone who would be actually useful, and David to throw into the line of fire would be good.
You know, if we are going to the more of the Mechanicus area, honestly, if David can even make a little bit of sales, that is money for the gang.
Well, if we're going to a Mechanicus area, then maybe Portman would be the right idea as well, because like he's a Mechanicus-y person. I didn't know we were going to a Mechanicus area. My bad.
You're heading to the Manufactorum district area. So there's like a quarter of the hive of this section of the hive that is Manufactorum, and you're heading into that relative area. Whether or not you're actually going to encounter any proper Mechanicus is a different matter.
Mm. Oh, okay. So sorry, Manufactorum.
Okay. Then we probably shouldn't.
Portman will stay. Let's see what Freddy can do.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I think Freddy and I think Esquire? I mean, honestly, if we lead him, he did seem like pretty like adept. I mean, he at least knows how to hold a gun.
Yeah, you are aware from
last time David left when we got fired at.
Yeah, basically. Esquire, to your knowledge, is an old Imperial Guard veteran who has retired, which in its own right says a lot, but the sad part is he has dementia. Most people never get to retire from the Imperial Guard. Almost 99.99% are dead.
If something happens, he gets to finally go out like a soldier. I think Esquire and Freddy.
All right, everyone else agree with that decision?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Then you are bringing along Esquire and Freddy, and you brief them on what your objective is and what you're trying to do. This car has sort of the standard like sedan style front seat, passenger seat, and the back like merge triple seat kind of thing that a lot of cars have. It is armored, but the inside is actually decently spacious, all things considered. It's just that packing every single one of you in a clown car like you did is going to be uncomfortable regardless of how nice it is. And you do not have any major weapons, but the car does have one mounted weapon on it, which is a swivel-mounted heavy stubber. Which is, if you have played Darktide, that is basically you get a twin-linked heavy stubber as Ogren.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bolter. Even if it's a bolter pistol, only still bolter.
Well, it's a bolter carbine, so it's a step above a pistol, a step below a rifle.
Yep.
It's also lighter than the full thing.
Yes. That's why I'm a big fan. That's why I can carry a lot of stuff, is because it is not full heavy.
Yeah.
Full weight.
Anyways.
But yeah, heading out, you finally head out along the route through the Underhive of Hive Acropolis is, as mentioned before, not straightforward. While there are roads and other fundamental means of passage through here, as there had to be an infrastructure at some point, the level of deterioration that the Underhive goes through just through sheer neglect alone means that you are regularly having to make short stops to move things aside and out of the road to keep going. So your progress is stuttered compared to what it should be. As you drive along, occasionally you will get sight of people that are eyeing you in fear and hiding as the vehicle drives past. You will have other people that look at you with crazed expressions and seem to brandish guns. Once or twice, some random goons, Underhive scum nearby, pull out bare bones auto pistols, probably made themselves in some corner, and take off pot shots at you. One of them, their gun blows and they lose a finger from it as you drive by, and the bullets just glance off the armor of the vehicle harmlessly. But it is certain to say that every single time you do need to stop to move things aside, you have to be prepared for the worst. Mm-hmm. As you continue,
flinches a lot as you drive around because he's not used to driving around in such close quarters,
confined areas,
get really close to walls and stuff, and he's freaking out a little because he's used to driving in the the wide open
Right, and
spaces
it'll
of
be
the desert.
funnier too because I'm only like just over the dashboard, like even with something to like sit on, like I'm just like, oh, don't worry about it, and I'm just like driving straight towards the building and then just suddenly like whip it to the left and then whip it back to the right, and I'm like, we're fine. I've driven through areas like this before, not even a little bit of an issue.
And he's trying to like hide his
Speaking
flinching
of
because
which-
he doesn't want to look like afraid in front of the newbies, you know.
Mhm.
But he just can't help it. Like it's just too insane.
Speaking of which, would you make a driving test for me? Difficulty
course.
regular, just 2, purple.
Yeah.
All right, so that is a threat. As you continue moving along, nothing major happens, but you do wind up. One of the squads of people along the side of the road, some of the Underhive scum, more pot shots are taken at you, but this time they actually managed to hit true in one respect. And after successfully getting far enough away, you do have to pull to the side and replace a tire, which takes a good amount of time. During this period of time, who is doing the actual repair?
I'll do it. My tech use is very good.
Yeah, so considering the level of your tech use, I'm not even going to have you roll a check. You know what you're doing, especially considering you're the one driving too. But the other 2 of you, I would like you to do a proper perception check for me to, as you are basically guarding the vehicle in the midst of all this.
What's the difficulty?
Perception or
Or
vigilance?
Perception, probably, right?
Whichever one is stronger for you, I will allow this time around.
I have a yellow and a green for perception, but I have 4 greens in vigilance.
Yeah, whichever one has more dice.
Yeah.
What's the difficulty?
Is going to be difficulty 3.
Nice. Whoa.
All right.
We succeeded, but we tried.
Do I take 2 strain or do the threats mean something else?
No, they don't meet. Well, actually, I feel like in this circumstance for you specifically, it would make sense. You take a little bit of strain from the fact that you are definitely on at ease. The ride has been rough for you this whole entire time. And while you do manage to look about you and keep your eyes peeled for any incoming danger and whatnot and dissuade any oncomers that seem to come about, it does cause you a little bit of a stress and strain. So take that 2 strain.
Okay.
Every window's a threat. Every person's a threat.
Yeah, basically that's how it feels when you're in the Underhive like this, especially when you're currently immobile.
The strain push and pull is an important part of the game, so it's good to take it.
Yeah.
So due to Shiori talking to the car beforehand, and I had asked, and they were like, the spirits. I'm just kind of chatting with the car, like more so mumbling, but I'm just like, I don't know if you can hear this, but like, you know, I'm if you want me to run over them, just like give me a signal. Like talking about the people shooting at the car. Would that make you happy? Cars don't talk, do they?
As far as you know, the car does not respond.
Oh yeah, no. I know I'm not getting anything back. I'm just like talking, and I'm like, no, I feel crazy, but
yeah.
But it is nice. It is nice to talk
speaking
to
of you having
something.
this little bit of crazed Sigismund and hearing him talking to himself and this, you find yourself a little bit I don't recall the term properly, a little bit at unease due to the fact that your pilot is trying to talk to the vehicle. And so that is accordingly how I will flavor you taking the 1 stress from your threat as well. The 1 strain.
Gotcha.
You're just like, he's talking to a car instead of the word of the Emperor himself.
You don't
I was gonna
have to
say, like,
speak
I've talked to my
our-
guns before, but I've always talked at them and not like to them. So now it's a little different, and I'm just like, right, I'm talking to the car. The car.
You don't have to speak to the vehicle. It is just a machine. It's not like a living thing.
Right. Shiori just got me thinking. I mean, if they can hear, it would be nice to have them on our side, but I don't know what I'm really supposed to get back out of this.
And with that, you finish up putting the new wheel on. The other wheel, the old, now bullet-riddled wheel, you simply take the initiative to toss aside because you are, number one, looking for scrap and removing some weight from the vehicle is a good idea. And number two, it's useless to you. It is scrap like the rest of the scrap around here, and a wheel would not be good for building anything other than maybe barricades. So,
we'll call it crap.
With that in mind, you guys jump back into the vehicle.
People of Shiori's ilk are strange, to say the least. I do not feel that they actually speak to the machines; rather, they believe that they do.
I see.
That is not talk about somebody behind their back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair to them.
I just kind of like hop back into my seat and just start it back up, and I just give it a little slap on the dashboard like normal and go, all right, let's find some scrap. Vroom, vroom.
It is annoying for me to update the size of this on here, so.
Oh, no problem. Oh, I had my sheet up. I didn't even see there was something on there.
Take your time.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom.
Small car.
Let's go.
So this is at the beginning, and as you get to your tire escapade, you are only about here.
Okay.
And I'm going to zoom in on the stream view so that they can see what's going on for those of you watching on
really
YouTube.
Cool.
Otherwise,
the game is
you
paused,
have...
by the way, so we're getting the game pause thing.
It is paused. There isn't really any major benefit to it being unpaused for you right now, but I will be pausing it again once we reach a certain point on purpose. So, as you continue moving along here, you keep driving and driving and driving, and I would like our pilot, our driver, to make a perception check for me.
Yeah. 1 second. He's got 5 more. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You keep driving.
I was going to say, all I can see is where I need to go. I don't have time to look at anything else.
At some point, you see what looks like a general pit stop, and you keep going. And it is after going about, let's say, a couple kilometers past said pit stop, that the car sputters and stops.
Yeah. I look back at Sigismund, I'm like, what'd you do?
I don't know.
So
Sigismund does the one maneuver, you know.
you turn back around after so rudely accusing Sigismund and look at the dashboard and realize you haven't been paying attention to the fuel and that you are completely on empty.
This is definitely where talking to the car would have come in handy.
What
Indeed.
is it? Why are we stopped?
Car drank all the gas.
You didn't refill it before we left?
You know, I did before we left. Thing, bit of a guzzler. Didn't expect it to die out this early.
Yeah, Casildo like kicks the car door open and gets out and like scans the street. Are there any,
so where you are now?
Forms of petroleum, yeah.
So you look about and you do a rudimentary check of the area, and you see the usual gaggle of Underhive scum hiding about and whatnot. What you do notice the most, though, is that this area that you're in looks like it wasn't initially intended to be a road. It was intended to be a pipe network of a sort. But considering you're in the Underhive, these hives are fuck off massive, and you can drive through them. As you look off ahead, you notice signs of life. The best guess you have is that, while you don't necessarily have any obvious indications that you're going to find fuel anywhere, your best bet would be to scavenge around, because petroleum is used all over the Underhive in some capacity. You just need to find a source of it. And so with that,
for the sake of knowing, engine sear would be for using faulty or damaged equipment, not a car that is on no gas.
Yeah, no gas would not function.
Mm-hmm.
And so you find yourself with a empty fuel can in a pipe system full of detritus and the usual gunk of the Underhive lying about.
Oh, did we heal our strains and wounds and things like that? Like, was it an overnight, like after we got back, we rested, or we immediately sent out?
Your health is back to fine. The strain that you accumulated during this route has not healed.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So for you, nothing.
Okay. So like Casildo's like looking over these like cans in front of him, seeing if there's anything inside of them. They're probably all empty, right? Those
cans are all empty. Yes, they are emptied out, already abused and used, and then stacked aside to be out of the way.
Yeah, he'll
yeah, let's start scanning. We can spread out a little bit.
He'll start looking through. Like he'll go over to this pile maybe.
All right, move slowly for me.
Do you want me to go back, or is that fine?
That's fine. So where you are now, how are you moving about?
I don't think Casildo's like afraid of anything, so he is moving confidently.
Yeah,
no attempts at stealth or anything.
No, he's not trying to be stealthy yet. Like, there's no reason to. Like, it's strenuous to move around in a crouch. So he doesn't like hear anything, right? He doesn't hear like people chatting or whatever. It's just like an empty pipe network.
We should ask Freddy and Equire to watch the car so that somebody doesn't just decide to start pushing it away.
Yeah, the two of them should stay back and watch the car. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if I select the car for some reason, I get vision of like the area that is more up here, or like after
the side
to the
areas.
left.
So please do not select the car then. Problem solved.
Problem.
Fuck.
There we go.
So yeah, put Freddy and Esquire back
on
like
myself.
on the other side of the car, like by the car. Like they're just gonna get back there.
You hear some drab conversation going about, and Freddy groaning at Equire. But as you move about and move up to this point, you hear some mild clattering ahead.
That will drive Casildo to go into like fight mode, and like he'll drop to like a low stance, and like he'll put like his like finger up to his mask to shush the two of you.
Which way did we hear it? Up or to the right?
Yeah, where did the sound
you
come
hear
from?
it off in this direction.
Okay, gotcha.
I want to specify that Sigismund was already being sort of careful, but now he'll hang back for a bit because,
where did you say the sound came from? I missed it.
To the right.
Came from up ahead. So up ahead beyond the wall that you can't see beyond right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you want me to make a stealth check, or do you want me to wait for like
Well, would you be trying to be stealthy?
Yeah, he's gonna drop low and like move in a more like acrobatic way to try and.
All right, I would like you to roll me a stealth check, but I'm going to give you a difficulty 3 because up until this point you have not been attempting it.
Right.
I just kind of whispered to Casildo and was like, "All right, do you want me to get on top of the fence again? Like that worked out last time."
Well, I failed with advantage, so I'll drop a strain for my advantage.
All right.
I failed the stealth check, so I try to like go around this corner, but maybe I like a can or like a some sort of like pebble or stone or something, and it bounces down the stairs.
That like
makes like
gravelly
a
sound as you're trying to move, like your foot like slides, and it makes like that gravel pushing sound. And
as you step forward, you knock over some semblance of a tin can or something that used to hold some form of ration that has long since been devoured. And with this clanging sound as it falls down below, you look around the corner and you meet eyes with a gun-toting, like a shotgun-wielding gentleman with a nice top hat and rippling muscles.
Ooh.
And does he have his like shotgun like pointed in like an aggressive manner, or does he just like have it in his hands?
Well, as you meet eyes with him, he slowly raises it up to you and is basically like, "What are you doing here?"
I'll kind of yell over your shoulder, "Oi, friend, just needing some gas?"
We are looking for fuel, stranger.
Yeah, just a little bit of gas.
Fuel?
Yeah. I can make a trade. What kind of gun you got there?
What I got here is none of your business.
Fair enough. I was thinking, I'm do a little bit of service for some info on where we could get some fuel, or if you got fuel.
What's it worth to you, that information?
I kind of look at Casildo.
How about we don't kill each other?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Gonna have to do me one better than that. I ain't gotta tell you crap.
I've got.
How about
Where's my?
I can do 30 minutes of labor.
30 minutes of labor.
Yeah, 30 minutes of labor.
No, we got credits. I'll pass him like a 5 credit coin.
You approach him and pass him a 5 credit coin. He looks at it and just sort of shrugs a tiny bit, and he says, "I don't know myself, but I'll get one of these buggers who does." And with that, he steps to the side and slams on a door right next to him. Bang, bang. And you hear just on the opposite side, "What is it?" "Get out here. I got a question for you, Camilla." He just sort of like beckons you to come forward.
Yeah, he's looking down the stairs to pass him the coin anyway, so he'd be right here.
Yeah, you're over there. He mentions for you to come forward. He yells over the other way, "Get out here." And then when he sees Sigismund come around the corner, he's just like, "Shit, there's 3 of you." Yeah. And in a short moment, you hear like what sound like really like high pitched tapping of feet. So you're assuming like stilettos, something of the sort, which is very odd down here, but you don't really bother to worry too much about it. And the door suddenly cracks open very slowly, creaking and rusty, as a strange-looking woman and comes out and looks at you, holding a massive flail over her shoulder. "What is it?" "These guys need some fuel. Where the hell were you talking about that stuff earlier?" She looks at you all, and then looks back at the other gentleman who brought her out here in the first place, and says, "Oh, what's it worth to you?" He just, like, tosses her 2 of the coins. I would have preferred more, but that's better than nothing. Hey!
I whispered. Sorry, I wanted to whisper to Sigismund and be like, I forgot that I can pay people for stuff.
Money can be used for goods and services.
I forgot I don't just get money. I forgot I can give money.
The lady turns around over her shoulder and says, "Hi, Adina! I got a job for you!" Out of the corner of your eye, down the hallway, very mildly, you see this figure with a prosthetic bar and a very strange bowl-like helmet. Looks almost like you're not even sure. This would be foreign to all of you. Comes around the corner and starts walking up. Just like, what is it? These guys need to get shown to that little deposit we know about over yonder. Can you show them the way? What's in it for me? And before he can even say anything, she just sort of like taps her maul on her shoulder. And if this were an anime, you would see the giant anger mark on her forehead. And she's just like, "You owe me." Fine. This one individual keeps coming forward, and he's just like, steps up to you and Casildo and says, "Name's Adina. Nice to meet you. How these two chuckle folks been treating you?"
Fine.
Yeah,
They're
just fine.
fleecing us for some knowledge about where to find the fuel that we need, but so much is to be desired.
As you say that, the gentleman next to him bashes him in the shoulder with the butt of his shotgun. Not like violent enough to be like actually super damaging, but definitely enough to hurt. Just like, watch your tongue. So you need to calm down a little bit more. It was all in good fun. Ow! Not again. Okay, I get the message. Well, you may want to follow me, and I'll tell you what options lay ahead of you, because we sure as fuck can't get over there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sure. Which way? Yeah.
So we're heading over yonder, and he begins to walk toward the east here, very rapidly, not even waiting for you to keep up.
Yeah, we'll start jogging past, and as we're going past, I'll be like, "Ma'am," give her a little wave, and then do the same thing, go chuckle fuck, and then just kind of keep going. Do a wave to chuckle fuck, do a wave to man.
So, roll me an agility check as he turns and fires around at your feet. Just to see if any of the shrapnel from his shot hits you. Yeah, athletics. For acrobatics, same thing in this one.
Sigismund just nods.
You get a small bit of shrapnel in the back of your back. It hurts like a motherfucker. It doesn't take a damage, but you're definitely gonna feel that.
Yeah.
Watch your tongue.
Meanwhile, Sigismund just nods to them while rushing past.
The gentleman like tips his hat to you, and then wanders back inside with the lady, and they both disappear out of sight beyond the door.
I'm doing that thing where like you roll your shoulders back and you're just like, like someone slapped you in the back, and I'm like, it was worth it.
Another thing that I want to mention is that Sigismund probably doesn't care about all of the skulls and bones in here, because you know how imperial imagery is.
Yeah, this is all par for the course. He stops here at this little intersection and turns back to you and points behind him towards the obvious little bit of nothing here.
Sorry.
And he says, "You see that over there?" He points to the opposite side, and you can see what is actually on the opposite side, rising straight upwards, is a large, what appears to be slab of something. You're assuming it's supposed to be a bridge. Looks like a bridge, but it's up. It's not down, and you can't really travel across that. He's just like, we don't know how to get that down. We don't even care anymore. That's one option.
All right.
Your other option is down this way, and he walks past CC, and as he walks past you, he says, Chuck.
Chuckle fuck. I like that.
Oh god.
Can I take a moment to try and observe the bridge to see if there's like levers or chains or like anything like holding it up?
Yeah, give me a perception check for it. Difficulty is going to be 3.
I feel like you would have a moment later, but yeah.
Casildo will probably also look at the bridge, but because there's like a piece of metal that's like
Difficulty.
like halfway across, like does he think he could make that jump? You know, it's pretty far, but like, you know.
Oh yeah, CC, you could totally make that jump.
No, I was looking for chains.
Oh no, you can totally make that
Casildo.
jump. Yeah, that
Wow.
no, not you, Casildo. CC, you could totally make that jump.
Yeah, you could totally make it. Come on, man.
Yeah, I could probably make that jump.
Yeah, you
Like,
can make
honestly,
that jump.
if as long as I don't fall off that bar, like honestly, easy jump.
Easy jump.
But no, you don't see anything useful.
I'll just
Casildo,
say
would you like to
Casildo,
do
I'll be
your
like, worst case? I could just jump that.
I like look down at CC.
do your perception check first?
Do my what?
Casildo,
right,
do
right,
your
do
perception
yours.
check first.
Do your perception.
Yeah.
God,
What's the difficulty? What's the difficulty on that?
Difficulty 3.
To look across? Okay.
I hope. No, why are you so good at things?
So, I will be absolutely blunt. If you had failed that, I would have said, yeah, you could totally throw CC across.
Yeah.
But no, as you look over, you notice what CC failed to, and you see over here is what looks to be some form of switch mechanism. The little thing here with the torches
Yellow
above
thing?
it. Yeah, it has a couple of candles that are somehow still burning away over there. They don't look like they've recently been dealt with, but it's just you're just used to candles existing everywhere in here because it's 40k universe. Of course, there has to be candles.
Yep. Candles everywhere.
But there are a couple candles currently dripping wax onto what appears to be the switch mechanism for this bridge. How you would actually access said mechanism is a different matter. Obviously, it's on the opposite side, and you can't just grab it. So you'd have to come up with something interesting to do it. But that is a possibility, at least as far as you can tell.
Well, luckily, we are holding currently long-range kinetic lever activators.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure, like, you know, I'm not sure how far Casildo can jump. He's a pretty athletic person, right?
I
Like,
want
if he can
to-
get if he can get a good run along this like bar that's like halfway across. I don't know if that like is realistic
The-
to the
I
actual
assume it's
picture.
like
The
dropping
bar,
down
the bar
instead of
here
moving.
that you're looking at, CC didn't really pay attention to it, hence why he thought he could jump across it. You look at that and you're like, yeah, that thing's rusty, already about to fall apart, and it dips downwards towards the water.
Yeah.
You're not getting across with that.
Gotcha. So it's going to be like a 25-foot jump. So it's like impossible. Okay.
You would have to jump from here.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
to.
Anything else is going to snap on you instantly, and even that is rickety ground, so you would have a poor jump start position.
Maybe we should find another way across, CC. This doesn't seem like
I
the way.
agree. I would just feel remiss if I didn't shoot at it at least once, right? Like, just that.
Well, you could
you could
1 in a
damage
million,
the switch,
like, and then we
let's
could
say
never
I hit it.
cross.
Well,
There might be
it's
another way around.
you
and
already
that could
can't
be,
cross.
That could be our way back, is what I'm saying.
Ah, damn it! I hate how
He's a
reasonable you
scout.
are. I hate and love how reasonable and correct you always are. I just whisper chuckle fuck. And I just like make my way down.
Took you all a lot while to get back over here.
Yeah, we were.
Hey, where's your hooded
talking
fellow?
about How I could have. He's on his way. We were talking about how I could definitely make that jump, but I've decided not to.
Oh yeah, you absolutely could make that jump, but I wouldn't
yep.
recommend it.
Yep.
But
Quick
yeah,
question, who else is trying to
this-
make that jump?
Oh, I did once and never again.
How do you like unselect the ruler?
You click
select the box, the select box thing in the top left.
The select box. Thank you. There we go.
Yep.
So you come on down here, and he's just like, "Now, the other idea that I have. Actually, I have a third one that I just remembered, but no, whatever. This door right here." He bangs on it. It's locked. I don't know how to unlock it. Might be some way beyond that. No idea. Best bet.
I just kind of like stare at their crowbar.
He walks away.
Yeah.
Like I assume that the door has been manually tried to be opened.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, basic tech repair is you start with the obvious, then you work your way from there. You ever have someone tell you to turn it off and turn it back on again?
You might be able to find a proper position for leverage, though, given your knowledge of the.
Are you two coming or what?
Oh, we're supposed to follow
third
them?
option.
I
thought they said third option, but whatever. Yeah. I thought the whatever meant nope.
Sigismund just wants to see all of his options. Meanwhile, you're already discussing everything.
And the last thing I got for you is over here.
Hold on, I want to do one thing.
Uh-huh.
Hold on.
Do you want to look at the bridge too?
Nah, I couldn't make that jump, unfortunately.
Yeah, you couldn't make that jump. The little one could.
Yeah,
it stresses you out a little to know that you can't make that jump.
It stresses you out a little. Why can the squat make the jump and I can't?
But you come over here and he points to the surging fountain of water going off behind him, which is, for the most part, making it hard to hear.
Yeah.
And he steps on over here, just like so, into the areas along it. He's just like, it's a little bit slippery, but if you manage to get across there, you can hop over to that little bridge there. Even you could make that jump, he says, pointing at Sigismund. If you can get there first. And that's all I know.
Roll perception again.
At a glance, you know that it is physically possible for you to get across this, but it will be an athletics nightmare to do so. It will be like a series of like difficulty 3 checks that you have to do in succession, just to be blunt.
Yeah, that's Casildo's job, not Sigismund's.
So this jump is significantly, I mean, technically easier. Not for me. I could obviously make the other one, but for everyone else, this would be difficult. So our option is jump into the water, or pry open a door. Currently.
Well, I mean, this jump here is significantly easier to make than the other one.
Right.
And there's that pipe spewing filth forth into the water that we can probably climb across, right? Like,
yes, you would be.
Casildo looks at this. Can he go like up here and around there, or is that like?
Yeah, that's basically the athletics challenge that you would be going about, getting yourself to climb up. The thing you know is that obviously something like this is going to be damp with the water, like the inherent water of the area and the humidity around here. So getting a good grip is the challenge, and maintaining that good grip is the following challenge. But if you can manage to pry yourself up and get up there, then you can jump across.
Want to mention that maybe I could also try to attach some sort of rope to a crossbow bolt, maybe, if you want to be creative with that, but yeah.
Could be interesting.
It would be hard to get the crossbow bolt to stick to any of the surfaces.
Yeah.
But that is an idea.
But come on, they got
tie
a guitar.
A rope to me.
They got a guitar.
Yes, you could drag the guitar into the water if you're successful.
Okay, tie a rope to you, and you make the jump first try. But if you somehow don't, we drag you out and you do it again.
How about we try that door that won't open first?
The door.
And if we can't get through that, then we'll try the option.
Yeah, we'll tie a rope to we'll tie a rope to one of us. The other two will hold on to it. We'll have them try and get across. and then they'll tie off the rope when eventually they either get across or we make them get across. And then
one last thing I gotta mention.
Yeah.
You could totally
Once you get across, you need to know where you're actually supposed to be going. Once you get across, you want to head down to the southeast. There's a door that leads to... There was some sort of cache down there, over there, and I'm pretty sure it had a decent amount of promethium in it. So, if you want to get your car up and running again, you're going to want to get over there. But obviously, you got to get across the gap first.
Right.
And I'm not helping you there. See you guys. And he just bolts off.
But let's go investigate that door first, and then we'll try this.
Yeah.
It looks slippery and dangerous.
So the party begins heading down to the door at the very bottom. So
Sigismund pulls out his chainsaw.
I'll hold up a hand. What am I able to use any kind of tech use with this? Just to like is there
as sort of a lore related thing?
Like does it have like a pin pad? Is it just like a big iron door?
This is basically just a big, thick iron door meant to last the corrosion of being in this entire complex. And upon initial inspection, you attempt to open it up. It is indeed locked, and it seems to be locked by its usual mechanism, along with probably some rust from neglect.
Yeah, like define locked. Like, is there like a keyhole? Is there like a keypad? Like, what kind of lock are we talking about?
Unlike the more sophisticated doors that you have up further in the hive, this one does not have any sort of cogitator door opener or anything like service call door opener.
Yeah,
it is a huge latch, and it is not on this side. Yes.
Gotcha. So
basically what you're thinking.
Basically, not locked. It's barred. Okay. Then this is probably not the way that we should be going.
Is there even an open area below the door?
You can see very limited light coming from under the door, but it is mostly like completely cut off.
Maybe we can get a rod underneath.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe
get a lot of rods, connect them and connect them again, and then we try to struggle with opening the door from the other side until inevitably someone yanks the stick out of our hands.
Fair enough.
Or something.
Yeah, I think maybe climbing across the pipes is going to be the way to go. If this
so you don't think we could just kind of stick a bar under the door and try doing a little jump, try and get a little bit of wiggle action?
Try to get it to pop out of its mechanism. I mean, with the rust, I highly doubt it. We don't have any leverage from the bottom. Like we'd have to find like a rod that would like bend that we could like push up, but I don't see like there's very little space under the door, so there's like nowhere to like.
I'd like to check. What is this pipe over here to the right? Is that like a?
That is part of the general like sewer entire mechanism down here.
I didn't know if maybe that like went in. Like I could like crawl in it and then like make my way.
You could if you wanted to drown.
Oh, fair enough. Well, yeah. I can make a jump. I can't hold my breath.
A working water pipe. Okay.
So if you had like a dive helmet or something and a proper oxygen bank, maybe, but it would be disgusting as shit, and you would come out basically covered in mostly flammable substances.
Fair enough. Sigismund, don't high five me if I do that.
There's also a door over here that we didn't ask or check about, but you know.
I have a feeling that's probably more their stuff.
Living there. Yeah.
Most likely just their stuff. All right. You know what? We got ropes. We got ropes.
Yeah. Why don't I tie a rope around my waist? And then I can move across these pipes.
I don't look it, but I am pretty athletic.
Are you?
Just throwing that out there. Yeah.
I mean, with the rope stuff, I could also try to hit the lever with my crossbow, but yeah.
Are you a yellow and 2 green athletic, or are you higher than that?
No, I'm just okay.
Nice.
So you can attempt
a rope around his waist and
you can attempt to approach this multiple ways.
And so he's going to try and like climb over these like pipes to the north side, and then
Right.
like jump
So we're
off
gonna tie the rope
over.
to your waist, right? And then we're gonna hold on to it.
Yeah, just in case I get
and
I
then
fall
feed it.
off or
Okay.
whatever, and then I can like tie it to something on the other side, and then you guys can like use it to get across easier. Would be the idea. Like I would have the hard check, and
Get
then you guys
across,
would have
tie
an
it
easy
off,
check.
and we can use it as like a guide.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So as Casildo heads towards the edge, you do look down, and just to give you a note of what you're actually looking at, the wastewater below you is a good like 30 feet below you, and you can't see the bottom of it. Obviously it's disgusting and most of it is opaque, so obviously you wouldn't, but you have a strong feeling that it is deep enough to completely submerge you more than once over.
The other help of the rope would be if I fall, you two could like stop me from falling into the water.
Exactly. We can kind of reel you back in.
Even though if you do fall, you'll go right into the sewer drain.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, it's not 30
yeah.
feet across, so like the rope won't be 30 feet taut if I fall. So I won't fall into the water, even if I fall off from the other side.
So the plan is, you tie it off at the first little checkpoint, which will be on top of the pipe, and then try and make your way over, tie it off again, and then we have a nice little guide to kind of follow.
Yeah, if I see something, I don't see anything on the pipe I could tie it to, but there might be.
There is a little knob that sticks up, like this little thing right here.
Okay,
yeah, like
so I can tie it
or
to
like
that.
a valve handle, pretty much anything, just to kind of catch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
there are definitely things you can attach it to, so you just need to get there first. So for the first check to get onto the pipe initially, you're basically pulling a every single parkour video game ever, and you have to shimmy across the ledge to get to the pipe. So initially, you need to do me a first athletics check to get down here without instantly falling into the water.
It's the same roll, but should I do coordination instead?
That is fair. Yes, go ahead.
Like that's like balance beaming and stuff. What's the difficulty on that? What did you say?
It is a difficulty 3. This will be a succession of difficulty 3 athletics and coordination challenges.
All right. Well, there's a coordination, and I succeed with 4 threat. So I almost slip a couple of times.
So this is what happens. You tie the rope around you, and your two compatriots are holding the opposite end, just in case, or tying it to something back at here. You have like a boil heater near you that you can use.
I've wanted to tie off the very ass end of the rope, like right where I am, like on this big.
Yeah, so
like,
you're attaching it to that heater. Yeah. And Casildo heads on over the edge, and you get on your knees, turn around, and grab the edge, and then drop yourself down. And as you put all of your weight finally into holding yourself on the ledge, one of your hands comes free, and some of it breaks away immediately, and you found yourself hanging by one hand already. You swing yourself back a little bit and grab another bit of it, and as you shimmy across very mildly towards the pipe, this happens yet again. This is not good for your mental health, and you take that force strain.
Right, it's very stressful going. I almost fall, but I do make it to that like knob.
You are about there.
Pipe. Okay, I made it 1 square.
Yep, that was 1 square.
All right, I'm going to try and continue up onto this pipe.
This time is an athletics check, not coordination, because you're physically trying to jump yourself upwards.
Yes.
This is rock climbing, basically, at this point, pipe climbing.
Difficulty 3 again?
Yes.
I don't make it.
We want to use.
Would you like to use a glory to re-roll that? Or a story point?
Yes.
All right, so left click on the glory in the bottom right. It is a collective pool.
Oh,
so
there we go. Point flipped, right. And then athletics, difficulty 3, roll,
and wash.
I was gonna say that's still better than.
Well, no, it was better
failure
to advantage
versus.
It's debatable.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so I failed the check.
You attempt to make a jump upwards, and as you do, you reach up onto the pipe and get a grip and immediately lose it because of an uneven and wet surface. And you plummet down and grab the very bottom rung of this pipe. It is very wet, but somehow in your panic and your adrenaline, you're able to hold yourself there. But you are now held by one hand, and you are not in a really good leverage position to swing yourself back up.
I like yell up for them to help me, like pull me up, while I pull myself up onto this pipe that I'm holding on to.
Okay. Yeah, we can do a little heave ho.
So like the two of you can like help
you two
me
can
pull up.
you two can do an athletics check. Whoever has the better athletics, just add 1 blue die to your roll.
I have 2 athletics.
I have 3 green.
Right, so
you
CC,
go.
do athletics check with an extra blue die.
Add 1 blue. Okay.
Yes. Ooh. Would you like to re-roll that?
Would I be able to see if Sigismund can like make up for my failure? Like
the blue die is his assistance for you.
Oh, okay, that's the assistance.
That is what it represents. So this is a cumulative die roll for the both of you.
I mean, I assume we kind of have to, or else he's just gonna drop.
I mean, you could drop him in the water and try and drag him up again, but you'll have dropped him in the water, and that wouldn't be very good for his health per se.
Yeah. All right, so I roll it again.
Go ahead and re-roll.
Okay, athletics. Make sure I have the blue die. Or do I still have the blue?
Yes, you still have the blue die.
Okay. Woo.
Wow, you actually got success out of the blue die. It came in a little bit useful.
Yeah.
And so Casildo, you try and maneuver yourself up, and they both grab and pull the rope connecting to you a little bit. And through this boost to your grip, you find yourself able to maneuver yourself into a position. You are now back on the ledge, and you have another opportunity to jump up to the pipe.
All right, let's give this another go.
But for the two of you who had to try and help him, that was a bit stressful. Take a strain, both of you.
Yes.
CC and Sigismund both take 1 strain. And you can make another athletics check for me to try and jump up.
Here we go. There we go.
All right. You figured out where you went wrong last time. You aimed for the wrong spot, you adjust for that, and you manage to climb up and onto here. You are now sitting on this. The next pipe over to your right is a tiny bit higher, but not enough that you have to jump for it. It's like climbing up a ledge. And you can move around a little bit with ease. So you find yourself about here when
Right.
I am going to ask you to make a coordination check for me, difficulty 4.
Oh, because
As the pipe underneath you begins to erupt with a sudden stream of excess waste and rumbles underneath your feet.
Is there anything I could do to like upgrade my check before I roll it, or do I have to only get rerolls with glory?
You can get rerolls. You can add blue die.
Blue die.
So if you use a glory encounter to my ruin, you will add a blue die to the check. It will still be the same difficulty, but you will have a little bit of extra help.
Yellow might be better, but I decay.
Yeah, you can also upgrade a green to a yellow with it too.
Because Genesys dice are weird.
Yeah, 4 difficulty is going to be pretty tough, so we'll do an upgrade.
All right, so roll with a extra yellow die instead of one of your green.
And we will fire that off. Dang it.
You can re-roll with the
I could
same
re-roll
stats if you would
again.
like, but you will use your last one for now.
Yeah, we gotta to make this. So, and this was what was it? This was coordination. Yeah. Okay. So, 4 difficulty upgrade ability. Well, did it. 2 threat.
Yes. That was definitely stressful, so just take the 2 strain as you would expect.
yeah.
But you managed to maintain your balance as a sudden surge of profuse and disgusting sewage spews forth from the pipe underneath you, rattling it back and forth and back and forth. And you look down below at what appears to be some lump of something that got cut in it. Must have built up a lot of pressure. But as you look at that, you take a breath after your traumatic experience, try and collect yourself, and now you're in position to attempt to make your jump. But first, it might be in your best interest to tie off the rope point.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie off the rope on that second ledge there.
Yeah.
I think it would probably be smart at this point for us to cross, or for one of us to cross, maybe.
I mean, if it's roped around, like you guys holding the other end will keep me from falling as well, so it's not that big a deal.
Right, but now that it's
there.
tied off there, we can't pull you back up if you fail this fall. One of us needs to be over there to be able to pull that new area of rope.
Oh, that's true. Otherwise, I'd have to climb the rope myself to get back up, and that'd be a pain in the butt.
Why don't you go ahead? You go first, Sigismund, and I will assist you as we go.
Fair enough.
All right. Difficulty 3 coordination check for me to start as you try and position yourself properly on the ledge.
Wait, shouldn't it be less since the rope's tied off now?
Fair point. Difficulty 2.
Yeah, that was the whole point of doing the rope, was to make it easier for the people that have
make it
worse
easier
skills.
for the
It is still going to be a challenge, but you do have to position yourself well, and you do have to use a bit of this. Still not a good position.
Do I also get a rope tied around myself? Because, you know.
I don't have any extra rope.
Yeah, we only have the one, so you're just using your hands on the rope that we have.
Fuck it, temporal protects. Wash. At least it's not 500.
You see, that's why I'm going second anyway, is so that I can maybe grab you if you've decided that the Emperor wants you to swim.
I think that Cece was going to aid you with
roll a blue die.
Yeah.
Roll a blue die for me. So just re-roll it and only pay attention to what the blue die does.
Oh my god.
So I just kind of said, you can do it, and then that was my help.
CC.
Yes, sir.
Athletics check, as you notice somebody going over further than they should be doing as you dive to pick him up. You dive to the edge and you manage to grab Sigismund's hand before he descends into the water. Obviously, it is very stressful, and you also find that as you grab him... Oh, and Sigismund, you take the same strain.
Joy.
Because you're the one precariously perched over the water deep below. And in addition to the strain, you are now sort of stuck in a position because, Cece, you have to hold your feet on the ground as best you can in this rubbly and quite precariously perched area. You had to just dive for it. You do not have a hold of the rope as you need to pull him up.
Right. We only have it tied off. Can I actually attempt to use either cool or discipline to lessen the strain that I was going to take?
If you succeed, you will lessen the strain. If you don't succeed, it will be worse.
Yeah, I'm willing to make that bet.
What difficulty is the question, though?
Yes, we are going to do a difficulty 3.
Okay.
This is a stressful situation.
Fuck.
One more strain.
Fair enough. Tried to keep my cool, and then I'm just like, no, the fireman!
And so now you are basically here as he is perched over the edge, and you look down to Sigismund looking up at you. Sigismund, roll me a perception.
Boop. To difficulty?
Yeah, the usual.
No.
Nothing.
Threat as
All right.
well. This is horrible. We're rolling so much threat.
For that one, you do not take strain from it. I will be honest with you. That one does not inflict strain. You just don't get anything nice out of it. That's how that one works. Because that was related to the voice in your head not chiming in at this point. But as you look up, you just look into Cece's eyes. Cece looks back at you. It's like this dramatic movie moment, except that you're surrounded by shit. And now you have to either bring him up to the pipe or bring him up to the ledge to try again. Meanwhile, Casildo...
I can try to pull him up on my end and try and get him up to... up to
Oh,
me.
right, because the slack would now be in the middle, so now he can just try and, pull us a little bit that way.
Yeah, I could, tell Cece to let go, and then I can pull him up on my side, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want you to do an athletics for me, because this is strength related.
Difficulty 3?
Yes.
DC and Casildo are doing it.
I did it.
Great.
Split the threat strain between you. For both of you, 1. Not 2.
So I'll take 1. Cool. Right.
Oh, between me and him?
Between Casildo and Sigismund.
Oh, okay.
Both of they take 1.
Probably because as I swing him around, he gets dunked in the shit water that comes out of
your torches as you get swung over go out.
Oh, you motherfucker!
You've done it now.
There's a hissing sound of fire being quenched as you are dragged up.
The hiss of the
piss. And
whoever I find after this ledge is getting murdered.
You pull him up when you see that the position that you have tied off at is not as sturdy as you hoped it would be, as it threatens to break. You have to scurry to get out of here quickly. So I need both of you to make me a difficulty 3 athletics to leap across before it collapses beneath you.
To the bridge? That makes sense.
Yes.
Bleh. To advantage at least.
Oh my god.
You got a triumph on no successes.
You got a triumph and advantage.
Yeah, but the check still failed, so...
Yeah, because the triumph counts as
it counts
a success already.
And yeah. You can.
So the question is, do I want to spend the triumph on something, or do I want to use that glory we got to re-roll?
I was wondering if the best opportunity here would be for you to try and throw Sigismund with your triumph to give him a blue dice, but I really think that maybe you just being a bit selfish and just you getting across would probably be the best idea.
Yeah, because we can always fish him out of the water if I have the strength to pull him up.
That's unfortunate.
Sigismund has lost his fire with it.
Because I got the rope in my hand.
The only reason why I stayed back was because worst case scenario, I already know I can make that jump.
I will try to make that jump. Here we go.
With Sigismund.
Oh my god! No!
Oh fuck!
It's even worse.
I want to say that as Sigismund fire went away, so did his will to live.
And it follows you as you both find yourself dropping in slow motion towards the water.
Oh no.
Who can say where the road goes? I mean, good news is I'm still up here and totally fine.
As Cece looks at this and his 2 companions falling in deep into the water below, first off, shit, I'm alone now. Take 2 strain.
Damn it.
Yeah, seeing your companions fall to their potential death is not going to be good for your psyche. But as you both are about to hit the water, you find yourself floating.
In the water? Or in the air?
In the air.
Oh.
Cece, you can see. Terrified. These 2 cannot. You see a single figure across the way, wearing what looks to be dark mechanics overalls, with a satchel and a rebreather, his head bald, his eyes tight, and looking at you with malice, as though looking to, well, not looking at you, looking down towards the other two, with a hand outstretched and an obvious look of strain, as you two find yourselves being lifted slowly up to the
Ben
platform.
Kenobi. That's incredible.
And he looks at you
Casildo
two.
can't believe his eyes. Like he's like flabbergasted.
He looks at you two and he's just like, hello. Very, very quiet voice, almost imperceptible.
Sigismund is just sort of thinking to himself, are you an agent of the Emperor?
Casildo is like terrified because this is like what his people like, hate more than anything in their religion, and that's why they're like chasing after him and Filza. So like he doesn't know he has no trust for these kinds of like wizards and sorcerers,
He steps back inside and he just looks at you two and he's just like, come inside.
I just yell from across the bridge, I want a stroke of luck. I have no idea that he doesn't like this person. I'm just like, hey, how lucky are you guys?
Yeah, like Casildo like looks back and forth between him and the man and says, can we help our friend get across?
I'll jump.
I'll lower the bridge.
That'll work.
That'll work.
Which you could have easily done when you got across here if you didn't mess up. Now
Great.
come inside and dry yourself off.
I'm gonna leave
And
that
as you come in,
rope over there.
So, Cece, you find yourself alone and heading back towards the bridge, waiting around, doing essentially nothing at this point because you were the last left behind. And you hear the churning of the water that could have very well taken your friends' lives away from them below you. Meanwhile, Casildo and Sigismund come into a very small little humbly assembled living quarters. The mattresses are basic. There's a guitar for some self-entertainment. There's a bonfire for heat and warmth. Which, Sigismund, I assume you take the instant opportunity to relight your pyres on your back with.
I don't know if he would, because he will probably consider it something holy fire. And he would have to wait for the Emperor's judgment to see if he would allow him to relight his fires again or something, because he has failed.
But at least he beckons for both of you to stand by the fire can to dry yourselves off, and sits down quietly in the corner and pulls out what appears to be a strange stack of some weird substance you've never seen. Actually, Sigismund, you have seen those. They're, what are they called? The sisters on your homeworld used to take those around everywhere. One of them had the Emperor symbol on it. Oh yeah, those are called books.
Books?
I sent you
And he pulls one out and opens it up, and the crisp sound of old paper as he flips another page, pulls out a quill and writes something. May looks up at you both and says, "My name is Deadpan. You?"
I am Casildo, and this is Sigismund, as he says. We're just
Pleasure.
Passing through the area looking for fuel for our vehicle. Ran out on the way to a thing.
I know where you can get some.
They said there was some on the other side of the chasm, which is why we were traveling across.
Once you're dried, I'll lead you to the bridge and we'll set it down. And At this,
Does
he
he have
basically...
he has like towels or something for us to dry off on, or?
No, there's just a fire that you can use for the most part, but he doesn't have any towels or whatnot. You could, in theory, use some of the, like, loose bedrolls, but they wouldn't be very good, especially considering this entire area is mostly damp. You're just mostly using the fire to dry yourself.
Like, Casildo, like, gets closer to the fire and puts his hands out to warm up, and he looks over at Deadpan and he says, so that thing that you just did.
Yes.
You are a sorcerer of some kind?
You must be from out of here. I am what they call a psyker. There is no magic, only the work.
Right. He thinks back to his sister and like how he's like not able to really help her or understand her position, and the fact that she does all these things that's like of a magical nature. But then he like looks over at like Sigismund right there and he like holds his tongue about it. What is Sigismund's like take on the fact that there's a non-registered psyker here?
He's a bit too focused on something else, man.
I mean, like...
Deadpan looks up at you from his book as he writes another note, closes the book with one hand, and lifts up his hand towards Sigismund and clicks his fingers. Both of the fires on your back light up.
Sigismund nods to him.
He nods back and gets back to his book. You don't see any, like, notable, like, designation or anything on the cover of this book. The entire cover is blank and obviously really old and really, really dirty. But it seems to be holding together well enough. And he just basically sits in silence at this.
After Casildo is properly dry, he'll like thank the man and like slowly move, like make his way like past so that he can go to like the bridge or whatever.
Deadpan stands up and basically leads you as you walk up and towards here.
Sigismund will probably be stuck in, prayer for a hot second before realizing.
Yeah, you just aren't aware as you look up and both of your compatriots are gone and down the hallway, and you come into a room. There is a oddly humanoid-shaped wooden figure sitting there, along with just some basic barricades and whatnot. You don't see anything wrong with the humanoid figure. It's not like cut up or anything of the sort. It's just sort of like humanoid shaped. And as you come up here, he's just like, let's get that bridge dropped. And proceeds through the door that he opens with ease. And motions for you to, after you take a second to follow him, he leans back in the door and motions for you to follow.
Well, head through. You could tell that he's very like Sigismund could tell this because he was like very tense and is like constantly keeping his eyes on the wizard.
Yeah.
As he should be.
And at this point, he steps up over a heap of rubble, and you can see very clearly in front of you. I went too far down. You were actually up here. That was just my bad. I lost track of how big the map was. He goes up to the switch and very promptly just loosens one piece of it and steps back. And the whole switch, you hear suddenly a massive whirring of clunk. And a large piece of bridge falls down and stretches across the entirety of the chasm.
On the little skeleton I was making. I was trying to assemble a full person.
Crunch.
Just crunch. No,
Crunch.
Frederick.
And Deadpan looks across at CC and just motions over with his head, just like a small nod.
Yeah, I'll make my way over.
And with that, Deadpan steps back over, looks at Casildo, just sort of nods at you, looks at Sigismund, nods at you, and heads back the way he came from.
I was gonna say, like, I try and throw up my hand, and I'm like, wait. Just kind of, I'll follow behind him as he walks. He seems like the kind of person that would just like keep walking, like even if I was,
he
like,
absolutely does in like dead silence. Just keeps walking.
Right. So I'm just like, hey, wanted to say thanks for saving my. Going around this corner. Say thanks for grabbing my compatriots so that they didn't fall to their death and then lowering the bridge.
And drowned in shit.
You're welcome.
Is there anything we can do? I mean, this is a lot of niceties for, well, pretty much nothing. I mean, aren't you worried about the I don't remember his name, Chucklefuck across the bridge?
Let me know when you leave. I want to close the bridge.
Understood. Do you, by chance, I assume this is kind of your area?
This is my home.
Your home? Yeah. Well, then I wouldn't feel right just taking fuel. They said there was just a fuel deposit over here.
This is my home. That's not. Beware of the mutants. Goodbye. And with that, he pulls out a book and begins reading.
Fair enough. I'm gonna do that thing that Casildo did earlier, and I'm gonna put a little 5-credit coin just down on his little like stack of barrels and boxes. I'll just sit a little 5-credit coin down and just make my way out.
As you are nearing the door, almost on your way out, and Sigismund follows behind you, you hear a sudden clink, and you notice that the coin is gone, and he hasn't moved at all.
Wait, I check my pocket.
You are not missing an additional amount. It's just that one coin that you left.
No, I was checking to see if he put it back. I was like, wait a minute, fucking... No one denies me my niceties.
He did not reject your generosity. The coin is just gone now.
Gotcha. Sick. Okay, I'll take that off my sheet, and I come back. I'm like, Sigismund and Casildo. Good to see you both.
Casildo's like shaking a little, like
I'm like,
I don't remember I'll just say that Sigismund leaves like 10 credits or however many I've had from first session because I cannot keep count of those and I don't care to.
You just like take your whole coin bag and you just set it down. I like that. You're just like, yeah, I can't be fucked, and just
however many I didn't get from a character creation anyways.
I see Casildo kind of shaking. I'm like, the fall in the water got you shaken up, friend?
Oh, it's just everything. It's just the fear, the danger of the whole situation. It's just getting to me.
I'll kind of come over and I'll just do that. It's like what strongmen do. I've seen them do. They take like both their hands and just kind of like slap it on both your arms. Like, just
trying to remember.
Except
there's like a
considering
considering
the difference in height, you're just like grabbing his hands, almost like
I'll
romantically.
Hit his like forearms. I just kind of like slap his forearms. I'm like, all right, remember, job to do. Let's shake it off.
I'm trying to remember if there's like a way to heal strain when you're like in a downtime sort of situation.
Just generally over time, you can heal strain for the most part. Like within reason, if you wait long enough and just collect yourselves, you can regain your strain. Because it's both a measure of your physical exhaustion and your mental exhaustion combined.
Yeah. Right. So this might be a good chance to just like chill out for a second in this like little alcove.
You're right.
Take a quick break, and then we'll get the fuel and go.
Right. I'll take a little seat, kind of like up on the bridge. I'll be like, I don't know. I mean, he had the bridge up for a reason. I'd hate to have more uninvited people come over. So.
Oh, that's true. All right, let's pull ourselves together and do this. Let's go.
Well, we could take a $5. How about we just take a $5 and then we just get it done?
I feel like just
heal what, like
so
1 or 2 strain.
The way that you officially recover strain is you make a simple discipline or cool check of your preference, and the number of successes you get is how many strain you regain.
I feel like already just waiting to soak ourselves would have been enough time to, remove some strain, but yeah.
Difficulty 2 or difficulty nothing, or what is it?
Simple is difficulty nothing, so no difficulty dice whatsoever. It's just raw number of successes.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'll heal 3 strain then, and
I'll heal like
Sigismund heals 5.
I will heal 1.
Advantages do not count. We only care about the successes here.
Got it. There we go.
But that is how much strain from that short rest that you are able to recover.
Right.
You would have to wait a good deal much longer in the Underhive to recover any more. So whether you decide to take that risk is up to you.
No, that's good. We'll continue on from here. Casildo will at some point will stand up and he'll feel significantly better, and he'll gesture for us to continue on down this way.
As you come down here, you look across and see the other side of that door that you couldn't open on the opposite side of a gap that you couldn't have crossed in the first place, and realize you made probably the right choice.
Cece could have made that jump.
Yeah, Cece could have made the jump.
Honestly, this could have all been avoided had you guys just trusted me and let me jump.
We really should have just allowed him to make the jump.
And behind you, on your right, is a large stack of bricks blocking a doorway.
I do feel like I should say this before we start doing anything. Our friend back there did say, beware the mutants.
Well, let's clear out these bricks and see what's on the other side. Maybe we can clear out this man's mutant problem for him and give him some more space.
Before we do any of this, Sigismund, whenever we decide to go through the door, I'll go in first, then you, Casildo, laying down cover, just so that we have a plan of attack in the event that we open the door and immediately are met with hostility.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Just good to have something planned.
Yep. So it just takes you a good little bit of time. It's a significant pile of bricks, but they are just individual bricks that you can very easily stack aside. So after a short while, that stack of bricks is over here now, and you have access to the door, which happens to be locked. But unlike the other door, it is not like rusted heavily or anything. Oddly enough, it looks like it has been used recently.
Sigismund makes sure to have his crossbow ready.
Again, like locked as in locked with a keyhole, or locked as in
it
barred
is,
from the other side?
From what you can gather, it is not barred from the other side. There is just some basic lock mechanism keeping it together.
Okay, so
a good little might have a good chance to bypass.
Okay.
So like
I have a
key mechanism, or just like a deadbolt, or do you think we just like slam the door open?
You don't know. Would you like to make some form of check to see a little bit more and inspect it?
Yeah, can we all inspect it?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Take turns looking it over.
Yeah, so let's start with Cece actually, because you're the most likely to get it immediately anyway. Give me a tech use check.
Yep.
Difficulty 3.
You got it.
Yep. You look at this door and inspect it, and while doors and architecture are not your forte, you have been around the Underhive a good amount, and you are well aware that, the easiest way to get this open would probably be just you pull out your maul, you flip it around, you insert the handle part of it, the handle part of your wrench, into the door, and use as a pseudo pry bar. And with a little bit of effort and the assistance of your friends, you're able to pry it open.
Hell yeah.
So it is now unlocked, and you can open it yourselves if you would like. Just by left-clicking it. That's how it works.
I kind of just put my maul away, and I point to the door and go, voila.
Yeah, Casildo draws his sword and pushes forth through the door.
Wasn't it CC, then me, then Casildo?
Casildo doesn't care. He's just going to do it.
Yeah.
That's just how he is. He just is like, you're not in charge. I'm in charge.
I'll step in. I'll have drawn my stub.
All right, you step inside. As you come into this room, you see a floor covered with viscous, disgusting, and somewhat glowing, messy substance all over. Small stacks of what look to be toxic waste are sitting above you here. Mm-hmm. And as you do come in, your biggest recognition is the group of ominous figures standing about, not ready to attack, but looking at you with a sense of hostility. They brandish weapons and hold them out, and you look across and you see a massive figure with a giant strained cleaver made of scrap metal and strange tentacle legs. The rest of them seem to be glowing from the local mucus.
Is this something I do a forbidden lore check for, or are they?
You may do so for me, yes.
Difficulty 2?
Yeah.
Nope. But
you don't know whether this is mutation or heresy.
Nurgle.
Really? You have no idea, honestly.
Directly, but
yeah, this is not part of the Chaos Powers. This is not part of the mutants. You don't know. You don't know which one it is. But what you do know is that, from what you can see, they aren't immediately eager to attack you and risk injury. But they do not seem to like you being here at the same time.
Okay. Is that
one would probably mention that they don't like us being here.
Gotcha.
Well, that
kind of just
that makes sense.
Let's go.
Casildo will take like an aggressive stance, like he's like confident in his situation, and he'll sort of like, he'll say, fuel. We're here for the gas. If you don't want any trouble, stay back.
The big one looks at you, and would you roll a difficulty 4 coercion check for me?
Could I reduce that if I pull out my rations?
In this circumstance, no.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, well,
I considered it. I considered it. But in this case, considering he has RA basically threatened them, no.
Right, no problem.
Because I've got like my weapon drawn, can I get like a blue die or something?
I will give you 1 blue die. It is still difficulty 4.
Okay, makes sense. Bam! We did it!
Damn, you actually succeeded. Those fucking purple die did nothing for me.
Fucking every roll.
Why does he always succeed? Almost fell into the water and died.
Listen, I have failed 90% of all of my rolls.
Casildo just has the luck of the Emperor on his side, It's fine.
Well, you say that. You know what? That's overconfidence is heresy.
Exactly.
So that's what he says, and he'll step forward threateningly with his sword drawn.
The large tentacled figure doesn't raise his weapon at you, but looks at you, and you can't see his eyes through what appears to be some form of dive helmet, but you can tell that there's a simultaneous sort of like hesitancy and desire to establish themselves. But after a short moment of the others taking a step back, actually, for the most part, he looks at you and he says,
"Touch nothing but your fuel."
I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah, I look over and I'm just like, yeah, fuck that.
Like, I don't want to touch any of this I'm trying not to touch anything. So the fuel's in these containers here up on the left, right?
no, it is not actually. He moves aside from the door behind him.
Oh, so I have to like go through this gross pool of water.
It is like, you'll get your boots dirty. That's it. It's not actually like ankle deep or anything. It's just a puddle, but it is glowing.
Yeah, so Casildo will like gather up his cloak and like put it up over his shoulder so it doesn't like dip into the water. And we'll head across. He keeps his sword out and pointed in their direction. But he moves around.
I'm gonna stay kind of like where I am. I'd like to make sure that they're kind of always watched.
As you get up to here, the mutant nearby moves forward. Is there any like instant reaction from Casildo to this?
Which mutant?
Little guy behind
the small mutant right next to you
believe.
moves to intercept you, basically.
Yeah, he'll put his sword out threateningly and be like, "Come no closer."
And he just like raises up his hand. And would you perception check for me?
Sure. Difficulty?
Just difficulty 2.
Am I close enough to also do a perception or not?
Yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
see it in the darkness. But I feel good about it.
I have actually seen the darkness.
Sigismund is able to notice it because he is not in this sort of paranoid, like combative state that Casildo finds himself in. And he's just like, he has the key.
He has the key.
Casildo will...
Which is what he's holding in his hand right now.
Casildo will reach out to take it, but he'll like snap it back as much as he can to keep his hands from getting like pulled down by this creature.
He like halfway through you trying to grab it from him, he sort of drops it, so you have to sort of snatch it out of the air, and he moves. So all in all, basically all this guy was intending to do was move forward and unlock the door for you, but of course is not a is a tense situation.
Yeah, so Casildo will like push forward to the door, put the key in, and then
click,
move,
and you open it up.
Move through. Yeah.
And there is no more to the map here. At this point, it is more theater of the mind for you.
Sure.
As you move into a new room, there is a small hallway that you have to go down. It is just a basic corridor that you would expect of any part of the Underhive. Nothing fancy, drab looking. You go down and you come into another room and you find a cache. And inside of this cache is, through the double doors, big double doors, you see mountains of barrels, some of which obviously smell of promethium. Alongside this, you see a massive stack of what appear to be basic munitions, random goods, treasures, all sorts of things. Basically anything that could entice an adventurer.
Oh boy.
Well, I was gonna say, you guys are long past like where I can see or do anything. I'm literally just here to make sure that they don't decide to shut this door behind me. and then corner us. So I'm just kind of here. I will have brandished my bolt carbine instead of the stun pistol now that I'm alone, because I'm like, might need something that hits harder in case they decide.
Okay. I do want to mention that
valuable are these other goods?
I should have mentioned before that Sigismund on his way walking here would have eyed up and down the mutants a bit more, but he probably can't make out anything else because, yeah.
So, let's put it this way. You would have fallen into the water and probably drowned. These guys have probably been fishing all of the treasure out of the water for the past forever.
Oh.
It is a lot of credits worth.
Yeah, so what
it's just like stacks of ammo, fucking foods, backpacks, guns.
What difficulty of discipline would it require me to roll to pass this up?
That is up to you.
Oh god.
Right.
What do you feel would be fitting for Casildo?
I'm really glad I'm not there.
Do you want to redo that with a glory for yourself? Or would you like to give in to your temptation?
Thing. Is there anything that would immediately be, appealing to Sigismund?
I mean, there are numerous pieces of jewelry and whatnot with symbols of the Emperor and the Ecclesiarchy on them.
That's not good enough for him.
As soon as I see a pile of ammunition, I would have to have 3 setback dice. It would just be impossible.
Yeah.
But luckily, you don't see anything. Casildo does.
Yep.
Yeah, so Casildo looks over at Sigismund, looks back at the pile of stuff, and says, "We can't just leave this here."
Yes, we can.
And Casildo narrows his eyes and says, "This would push forth the gang to new heights. We can't just let the mutants keep it. They're disgusting, subhuman. You of all people should be wanting to destroy them immediately."
Oh, subhuman. I'm assuming that this is more quiet. Oh
yeah,
definitely.
we're way down a bunch of paths, so they can't hear us from
Yeah,
here.
you're down the hallway and on a 90-degree angle, and you're into this big atrium room holding all of this stuff. You are out of earshot, unless you're screaming.
Yeah.
These subhuman scum do not deserve such goods.
You know what? I'll steal it. Nobody will ever know.
We're not gonna be able to carry all of this out of here. We're gonna have to wipe them out and then carry all of this out of here.
We've already dealt with trying to not delve into the stew.
I need you to persuade me.
Yeah. Charm or negotiation.
Do you want to do a test between one another, or do you want this to be purely role play? Is the question.
I was going to use a role play plus a test. So try to convince me, and I'll give you a difficulty.
What do you want the difficulty for my charm to be?
Well,
that's based on your role play. Yeah. Tell him what you're trying to tell him to convince him, and based on that, he will give you a difficulty.
Sigismund is making the argument that it's we've already almost fallen into the fucking stew when we've been saved by a psyker. Do we really want to deal with killing mutants? And also at the same time, we might not be able to carry all of this in the car.
Do I think all of this could fit in the car?
Oh, there's enough that you would have to make 10 trips.
Oh my god!
It is a massive sash.
So
and it is also a you are coming out here with the intent of getting some scrap and whatnot. You were expecting to strap that to the car. All of this stuff wouldn't strap to the car, take up a bunch of space, and weigh the whole thing down because it's all mostly valuable metals.
one read automatically by the fact that there are mutants in that are holding, imperial stuff, and
I mean,
yeah.
it's gonna be like a difficulty 4 persuasion test to get Casildo to not just like run back and murder all those mutants. You succeeded? What the hell? It was a difficulty 5.
You
for the
succeeded,
red.
but you both are finding overcoming this impulse very strainful. Split that thread amongst you two.
Yeah.
3 and 3.
Okay. As you say that, like Casildo like remembers like how he like almost died, and he's shaking before, and that mutant is quite large, with quite significant armor
and a lot of tentacles.
I mean, I don't care about the tentacles. Tentacles, smentacles.
I mean, yeah, you've been riding massive insects, so.
But the fact that he's so large, he's got big ass weapon. We can just get out of here and never have to worry about this again. We can
just take a bunch of.
We can actually come back with reinforcements, like the guys from the car, and then murder them later. We know
We can
this
just
place
take
exists.
a bunch of fuel anyway.
I mean, we'll take a keg of fuel each, so he'll pick up a keg of fuel and he'll keep in mind that this place exists.
The question would be
he won't take anything else.
The question would be if Casildo would try to sneak out with anything in like his pocket or something like that. It's like when Sigismund goes to move, he grabs something.
I mean, that's the thing is like for Casildo, the temptation is like just the sheer enormity of it, not any individual item. It's just like so much ammo, so many weapons, like so much money's worth of stuff and scrap and things.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't take any one individual item, but he would go murder them and take all of the items if he could. But
now it's just a note in the back of your head for maybe come back later.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe come back later and call me genocide.
Yeah, we'll leave genocide for another day, I guess.
All right, so you do successfully overcome your urges and wander back through the hallway, each of you carrying a keg.
Or maybe more.
Well, yeah, a couple kegs.
A couple trips.
I mean, I just have one under my arm. I got my sword. Like, we don't need like that much fuel. Like the gas.
Well,
the fucking
to be honest, the way that most of this Promethium is stored is in barrels that you would have to roll out. So each of you could roll out a whole barrel, basically.
Okay. Yeah, we'll roll out a barrel each.
Yeah. And fuel by itself is valuable anyway, so.
Yes. And as you roll this fuel out, you can feel the piercing gazes of all the mutants around you looking at you to make sure you haven't taken anything else.
Casildo says, the pact is sealed. We just take the fuel and we go.
Leave.
And I guess we'll leave.
Yep.
All
We'll
right.
pile up a bunch of bricks and shit in front of that door for that old man again, just to make sure those guys can't get out.
Yeah, so you all head on back out, basically. Pile up the stone bricks and whatnot again. So, boop and boop. And with that, you have left these strange mutant creatures behind.
Casildo's just like shaking his head. It's like, we should have just killed them. And I was rolling the fuel to the bridge. And if there's anything else,
I kind of like packed up my weapons. And I'm like, honestly, 2 barrels? That's a pretty good haul. I'd say you guys made out pretty well.
You should have seen how much was in there. Casildo says.
Must have been a lot of. You know what? If we need more fuel, maybe we'll just stop by on the way back.
It was a dragon's horde of goodies.
What's a dragon?
You're not there. So one of these two has to be.
What do you mean a horde of goodies?
I'd like describe like
floor to ceiling, like how much like thrones of goods are in that back room.
And how somehow Sigismund managed to talk you down out of it.
Cece starts heading back.
I'm gonna slowly start taking brick by brick. Just
Sigismund.
one brick to the left, one brick to the right.
Got fucking walls. You're coming with me.
Oh hey. No. I just want to like I just need to see. It's all it is really.
If you want to kill all of those mutants by yourself, feel free.
But there's he said a horde of ammo.
It is done, Cece.
But
we might be back.
What if all they want is meat? There's plenty of people made of meat that we could give to them for it.
All right, I would like you to take what? I would like you to take one corruption point.
You get 5 corruption points.
Listen, Cece. Right. It took quite a bit of talking me down by Sigismund, but he is right. We have barely survived this day as it is. We should just count our blessings and move on for today.
What about chuckle fuck?
As you begin walking back across the bridge with the barrels, you turn and you see Deadpan standing there looking at you.
Up from the bridge?
Yep.
Yeah, Casildo will like give him a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll just kind of...
He'll just very small, almost imperceptible nod back to you.
We didn't let your mutants out. Or the mutants.
I'm surprised you're unscathed.
We're very persuasive, and I kind of just like tap my gun on my hip, and
it turns out that all living species have a desire to live.
Fair.
We'll be back. Can I just like yell next time and you just let down the bridge? We'll bring more coin.
Farewell.
He just sort of like shrugs and goes back inside.
It's just maybe. It's like,
and as you get all the way across the bridge,
right?
Please drag yourself over, or I'm going to drop you in the water. 3, 2. There you go. You notice that the bridge raises yet again with a mechanical chunk of the chains. And yet again, you are in a situation where traversing this would be horrible if you didn't already know how to get across.
Right.
He could make that jump.
Before we start trying to get these expensive barrels of fuel up the stairs, I am going to brandish the bolt carbine again and just kind of like nod for both of you to go ahead and go forward. And I'm like, I don't want any more trouble today. I'm already upset.
I mean, they're not out here; they're inside. So
right. But if they hear and they decide, you know what, it's ours, and then I'll persuade them that it's not.
But what is in this room?
The door does not even open as you pass by it.
Because you see Casildo like come around the corner with his barrel of fuel and go, "Throne."
Freddy, Acquire.
Yeah. So what happened is some dumbass decided it is still there.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, no, that's it. Freddy and Acquire died on the job. That's what we're telling them, right?
No. You come back. The vehicle is still there. They're both there. You can tell Freddy is like holding back, beating up the old man for being so annoying.
Okay.
But they are standing by the car. Nothing seems to have been taken. The car hasn't gone anywhere. And you come back up and they look at you and just like, finally.
Say yep. And we'll fill up the car We'll go ahead and
I
toss
love the smell
extra
of fresh
barrel.
promethium.
Me too. Me too, Acquire. Freddie, I'm gonna do you a favor. You're gonna ride shotgun. You're gonna get a break from Acquire.
Thank you.
So, do we still want to check what's on around that door, or
No, we're out of here. Like, let's just go.
If I knock
Fair.
on the door and someone greets us with a gun, it's really gonna just sour this whole small victory we finally had.
Yep. So you have managed to traverse this entire area, get across, get the fuel you needed without expending any ammo or blood, but lots of tears from the looks of it, and have returned to the vehicle in one piece with plenty of promethium, actually. You used like barely an eighth of one of the barrels to refill the vehicle in the first place,
that's awesome.
and then load them both into the back. So you have like days worth of fuel.
That's super useful.
And there is
Considering
somehow enough
that we
room in
didn't
the
have
back
any-
trunk to hold them.
Right, like we filled up the trunk basically. We filled up the car with this fuel. Maybe we should just like head back, drop it off, and come back again another day. Finish up the mission.
I mean, how long was the trip until here?
I was gonna say
this-
we're probably
this-
gonna empty out one of those barrels, just getting all the way to the other end.
Getting to
I
this
have a
point
barrel
was
that we can fill with stuff.
getting to this point was like, as far as total distance traveled, it's not that bad. It's just that the Necromunda is a horrible place to traverse. Driving out here was about like a good 8 hours.
Like, how much more like stuff could we fit on this car?
That is one of the limitations you'll have, so you may want to find a way around that at some point, but I am not going to give you any clues.
Yeah, if we get like a huge, thing of fuel, like we could definitely take that back, and that'd be good enough salvage for the day, I think.
Well, what if we just
Also,
kept
we're
it
all-
with us?
we're
What if
all-
we found another car? What if we
we're all
just
pretty
got another
fucked
car
up,
while we're
so-
out? We could trade probably a single barrel for another vehicle or
That's
a
true.
sled, like a real good sled.
Mhm.
Sled
but
being
people
like
would-
it's like a
Yeah.
trailer hitch, I guess.
Yeah,
like a
but
U-Haul.
people would definitely try to steal from the sled.
And then we could just come here, kill the mutants, and take all their stuff instead of going to the place we were gonna go.
Honestly, trading a barrel for a car might not be the worst thing.
No.
If we can come across somebody who's really
The
got like a big
Emperor
hauler.
himself told me to go to that place. We shall
But-
go.
Yeah, I
That
think
is
I think
true.
trucking on's the best idea. And if we run out, we can trade the barrel, which we got for free, for another vehicle, which would be way better than coming back with only one vehicle full of stuff, 2 vehicles full of stuff, and then we have 2 vehicles we can load up with whatever those mutants had.
Fair enough. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So all in
dreams
all, you
about
guys got through all of that a lot quicker than I expected, honestly. You
I'm really
sort of
surprised.
streamlined a good chunk of that. So this is actually about it for this session. I'm assuming you do go back and drop off
Green
one of the
light.
barrels at home.
I did pass a completely insane coercion check.
Well,
And I passed a
I was
even more
actually
insane-
asking if we wanted to trade a barrel while we were already out. Like we're going to an area that's going to be filled with like,
And I
it's
passed
the
an even more insane
manufactorum. There
car.
might be better and cheaper cars there because there's too many. Someone trading fuel for an area that uses fuel, we might be able to get like a really good deal with the barrel that we have.
You know the person who could make that deal.
Oh, that is fair.
Oh
And with
my
that,
God,
everyone, we
Tim.
are ending off for today. Thank you for joining us here on Unlucky Rolls. I hope you have enjoyed today's session of Necromunda. Everyone,
was
say
great.
goodbye.
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 Bye.